Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's Mint, and today I have my first ever CAS video for you guys. So today's CAS video is kind of like me creating Sims based off of, or not based off of, like inspired by horror protagonists from franchises that I really enjoy. And they're not like exact replicas, or they're not like exact like copies of the protagonist. I put my own spin towards them and I made like them as accurate as possible based off of like what I had in The Sims, because contrary to popular belief, I don't have a lot of CC that necessarily is like exact character to character from like movies and franchises and stuff. So first off, we have Ruka Minazuki from the Fatal Frame series, and the reason why I chose her was because one, I really liked Fatal Frame when I played it. To be fair, I was really young when I first played it. I think I was like 11 or 12. I should not have been playing that game at that time, but I digress. I really enjoyed Fatal Frame, and I really need to replay it again because it's been like years since I played it. But I do remember like looking at Ruka's outfits and all of the other girls' outfits, and I'm like, whoa, I want to dress like that one day. And I still do, low key. I think their style is really, it's 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 not unique, but I like how girly it is, but also how gloomy it is. I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, that's the first sim we're making today, inspired by Ruka Minazuki. And another part why I also picked Ruka was because I actually had her dress as a CC. You'll see it in a bit, but basically there's a CC creator. Her name is Cloudcat, or their name is Cloudcat, and they basically took the mesh from the Fatal Frame game and made it into like CC for The Sims. So Ruka's dress, like the iconic yellow dress, they made it compatible with The Sims 4, which is neat. That was the dress that I really wanted. I still kind of do want it, but it's a really pretty dress, and I think this sim is also really pretty. I'm not gonna lie. She was probably my favorite when I was making this. I don't know, there was just something about like how the sim came along that I was like, oh my gosh, this is such like, she's not necessarily unique in how I make sims. Like I've always made sims like this, because unless they're for gameplay, which for gameplay I stick to mainly Maxis Match, but when I'm creating sims like just for cast and stuff, I usually venture more into like alpha hairs and stuff. But I don't know, just something about the sim makes me really like her. I don't know if it's like how her face turned out, or maybe it's the hair that's carrying it, or maybe if it's even like the clothes, because I really did enjoy picking out her clothes, even though I knew what she was gonna wear, because you know, the CC dress. Um I really liked her. I think she turned out really pretty, and she was the one that I had the easiest time coming up ideas for, because I mean, I already had the I already had like the dress, so I didn't really have to think about that, I guess. Yeah, you'll see it here. This is the dress that I was talking about. It's from Cloudcat. If you were interested, you can download it off their Patreon. And yeah, I made all of the girls have a bit of like blood and like tatters on them, because I just thought it would be more realistic as like a horror movie protagonist. You're obviously gonna be a bit bloody, in some cases a lot bloody. um, Speaking of horror movies, which ones do you guys really recommend, or like do you really enjoy? Because I know it's not spooky season anymore. I know Halloween has long passed and it's New Year's, but I wanted to branch out my horror movie taste, because I really only watch like slasher movies and like Filipino horror movies, because those don't really scare me. And I don't know, I've grown tired of them a bit. Well, not too tired, but like I just need more horror movies and I need more recommendations. So let me know you guys have any. Okay, moving on to the next sim. This one is inspired by Sally Hardesty from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the first one. And I had trouble with the sim, guys. Like, I did not know what to do with her. Like, you'll see it later, but I was like struggling with her outfit, and I actually cut a lot of the footage here because most of it, like 80% of the footage, was me trying to pick a hair and pick clothes. Because while her outfit in the movie is simple, the clothes, the tank tops specifically that I had, didn't really fit, or wasn't like the right type of tank top, you know, with like the white lining and the purple. Like, I had the purple down, but I didn't have the white edges on it. I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, this sim was the one that I had a lot of trouble with. I didn't necessarily know how to go about dressing her up. Like, I know like the features of the sim, and I'm like, okay, I can probably do this for the sim and stuff, but when it comes to how she dressed, I was a bit like, I don't know, I was a bit unsure about like how to dress her and stuff, and like which tank top I should go for. You're gonna see it like when we get to it, but I was having a rough time with this sim. Like, if this section is long, the recording was even longer because the sim took me the longest out of the three. This sim took me an hour, and most of that hour was spent trying to find a hair and a tank top that would suit her. But you know, that's besides the point. I remember when I first watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like for the first time. Again, I was way too young to be watching this movie. Like, I was in theaters with my parents watching this back in the Philippines. And I don't know if y'all know this about the Philippines, but when I was growing up there, when I was like 7 or 8, because that's when I watched this movie, the movie theaters there would often play like older movies, but they also didn't have like age restrictions. So you could watch rated R movies with your kids, and my parents would take me to rated R movies that, I mean, they drew the line at like sexual things. Like, they didn't want me watching sexual scenes in movies, and they didn't take me to those movies that had those, right? But like horror movies and stuff, those were free game. Those were free game. My dad would take me to them all the time. And I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the first time when I was like 8, I think. And I remember thinking, if I was in that movie, I think I would die. Like, I genuinely did not know how Sally did all of this. Like, I just, good for her. Like, that's something that even I today wouldn't be able to muster. Like, I have horrible situational awareness, and I'm not the most athletic person, so I would immediately die in any horror movie. I feel like I'd be the first to go, to be honest. Like, I would do something so stupid, and the killer would, like, find me unawares, and I would just, like, cease to exist right then and there. I enjoy watching horror movies, like, don't get me wrong. I enjoy, like, I guess the thrill of it. I don't know. I don't enjoy jump scares, but I would not wish myself to be in a horror movie. I I just I don't. Yeah, I know for sure that I wouldn't survive. Another genre of horror that I've kind of been really into lately is like more psychological horror. Like, it's not psychological horror, but it's like the new type of horror, right? Like, everything from A24 Studio, basically, like, or Ari Aster. Anything from Ari Aster, basically. Like, Midsommar, while it scared me in a way that most horror movies wouldn't scare me. Like, slasher movies don't scare me the way that Midsommar did, for example. Because Midsommar, I think, made me really, like, chilled me. It chilled me because those people that are capable of doing everything that in that movie, they're people that I can meet in a day-to-day basis. Like, I don't have to go out in like a lonely farm or like a deserted town in the West Texas area to find a serial killer there. Like, chances are I wouldn't go there because I know that there'd be a serial killer there. But Midsommar, it's like the people you know in your daily life can really just be the reason why you're chopped up in a barn somewhere in Sweden. Like, cause like if my friend told me like, hey, you want to go to my like home country and experience a festival there, I'd be like, hell yeah, I kind of want to go. Like, it's with you, like you're there, like my friend's there to be like a guide or whatever, so I don't get lost. But then it turns out that my friend belongs to a town cult and pretty much made me the head of their cult after traumatizing me a lot. Like, yeah, like the horrors come from those who you seek comfort in, is what I think scares me about Midsommar so much. Anyways, so the next sim that we're making is based off of Maxine from the movie X and Maxine with three X's from the X franchise. Now, this sim I had an easier time with than the last one. However, I still did not have as easy of a time as I did with Ruka's sim. Now, I liked how this sim turned out because I really liked how bloody she was. Like, I think that's like a weird thing to say, but I like how her face turned out because of the makeup and the blood. And I don't know, it's like it screams like final girl, you know? Like it has you can tell she's been through some. And I don't know why I didn't do that for Sally's inspired sim, because I think she should have had that given how bloody she was by the end of the movie. But I guess I just forgot how to, or like to put it on. Anyways, I really like this sim and I like how she turned out. I really wish though that I could find like that overalls that I used to have before I deleted my entire CC folder and like redid it. I used to have overalls that wouldn't have a shirt under it, and that's what I was gonna use, but I couldn't find it and I don't think I re-downloaded it. So that's like my only gripe about the sim, is like she would have felt more like Maxine if she had, the famous overalls with nothing underneath, so to speak. Um yeah, other than that, I don't really have anything else to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I do have screenshots of the Sims at the end. I don't know if you'll be able to download them, but I'll try. Anyways, bye guys.